Hey everybody, this is Frank. Maybe you've wondered from time to time how do Frank and Dan make their show sound so great? And I've got something to say about that. We use really nice microphones. Something that we really wanted when we were first starting out were some nice professional microphones, and we finally bought them a number of years ago. We use Shure SM7Bs. Now, this might kind of sound like an ad, and you might be wondering why I'd be telling you this information. It's really just to set up the following, which is what you're about to hear is proof positive of just the level of skill involved in producing this show. I don't sound like I normally would because I forgot to turn on my Shure SM7B and instead recorded the entire episode on my computer's onboard microphone. But I don't think it really affects the quality of the show. Dan and I discussed maybe re-recording the episode, and to be honest, there were just a couple moments in the show that I don't think we could recreate if we re-recorded, and that were just really nice, good moments. And so we're just letting it be. Hopefully next week I push the right buttons and the show will sound better. But in the meantime, enjoy the show.
Buddy.
Hi, guys. Well, from genuinely gorgeous Salt Lake City, Utah.
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
The podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up on the show today, everyone, Josh Duggar. Oh, he's been up to no good.
It's now 19 charges and counting.
Oh, God.
It's a bad day for one particular evangelical Christian and his family, and it's probably indicative of something larger, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, so that's coming up on the second half of the show. Before we get to that, we got some news stories,
some various and sundry stories.
Some stuff happened this week, Dan.
Yeah. While you were basking in the sun of beautiful Hawaii.
It was really nice. And you know what? I listened to the episode. Kate did a great job.
Oh, yeah. I thought so too.
You need to, I'm going to thank her right now. Thank you, Kate. But you need to thank her for me.
I'll pass it along.
Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. All right. Dan.
Yes.
I love this phrase that this article uses, so I'm going to use it as well. Pro-Trump evangelical pastor.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Which is just, I can't, it's so, oh God. The fact that it's all conflated together. Anyway.
Well, with most of them now, it's pro-Trump more than it's pro-Jesus. Like, with kidding. A lot of them, they got to that point. So yes, it's probably right to point that out.
So this is Mario Murillo, or Murillo. He is taking the position that God is calling for Christians to, quote, terrify National Democrat leaders.
I'm
sure you don't really have to try. That's my guess here. I'm sure they're already scared to death of you guys, and not for the reasons that you think. Right.
Well, what he was talking about, he's not talking about, like, take guns up and show them the...
No, that's true. You're right, Dan. He says that the Lord wants the prophetic movement to take its stand in the arena, right? To barge open the doors of influence and say, we belong here. Mayor, we belong here. Governor, we belong here.
Oh my God.
Congressman, we belong here. If you're going to try to legislate immorality, We're going to fight you with every last drop of the anointing of the Almighty God.
Wow. And of course, what he's talking about in terms of immorality is nothing immoral at all. Things
No, of
like
course not.
gay people existing and
Right.
abortions occurring and
Right.
and
Or
being the choice of the woman.
the government taking a role in like the well-being of this nation.
Of humanity,
Yeah. Oh, that sounds awful.
and immoral. So immoral.
So immoral. He's urging his followers to take political and moral action by terrifying.
Yeah.
And
And
here's
what's
the
funny
thing.
is-
You say that because like when I first said it, it sounds like maybe it's about taking up arms and whatnot. But I think this language is really important, and I don't want to defend them, right?
That's true.
And let them off the hook, because like this dangerous language that they keep using does incite people to do things, right?
Yeah.
What do you you're getting involved, and you're calling the mayor, you're calling your member of Congress, right? And you're terrifying them. Well, I'm sorry, that's a bad stance to be taking, right? That's a bad starting point.
Yeah,
Is
because
to be like trying to terrify them.
Well, because most of the people listening will understand that what you mean is what he probably means is overwhelm them with your presence, or
Sure.
just make sure that they know that that their job is on the line come next election day or whatever. But all it takes is for one nutball to be out there hearing that language and interpreting it as, oh, I know what he really means.
Yep.
He wants me to actually be a terrorist,
Right.
essentially.
Right.
And they'll do it because they're religious zealots, and that's what they do. So you have to. He needs to be way more careful with his language.
Yeah.
Not that he would ever take responsibility if someone did say, "I'm doing what so and so, whatever Mario, whatever his name is, told me to do, and I'm shooting you right now." Like, even if they were like that, he would not take responsibility for his own language.
Right.
But the other thing is, I love how he's talking as though evangelical Christians don't have wildly disproportional influence in this country.
Oh, I know.
Like, insanely disproportional influence. And he's talking as though, like, somebody's got to hear us. We got to get heard in this country. Oh, my God.
Right, because the last nut job, or in chief, right?
Yeah.
They didn't have any, influence with him.
They couldn't even, nobody would even answer a phone call.
He goes on, embrace yourself, Dan. He says to organize, educate ourselves on how to terrify national Democrat leaders, how to win local elections, and train our people to know why they believe what they believe and to believe it with conviction. This means that the pulpit must take on abortion, gay marriage, transgender indoctrination of our children, and yes, racism. Right? Because if we really want to get rid of racism...
Is he pro or anti? Because I'm confused on that one.
No, he says, because if we really want to get rid of racism, we're not going to allow this artificial equality. Because I have no idea what he's talking about there. Because that in itself is nothing but the plantation owner trying to lure you back and tell you that I'm going to take care of you if you just come back and start to be a servant of me.
What is he talking about?
He continues. He says that Democrats were the party that invented the Ku Klux Klan, and so forth and so on. And all I would say is, what party belongs to the Ku Klux Klan?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Right. Like
I actually got into a dust up on Facebook with a guy just the last week because he was proudly proclaiming that. Republicans were the party of Lincoln and were the party of emancipating slaves, and they were the party that started the civil rights movement and blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, except that, as we all know,
right,
the parties flipped sides in the middle of the 20th century. So you can't take credit for that unless you're going to like also just denounce, like, yeah, the Republican Party was the progressive party back in, you know, the late 1800s and early 20th century.
Right.
And now they're the regressive party. So you get one or the other. You can't have both.
Right. Exactly.
Oh my God.
Well, it's, you know, it really just gives them, you know, carte blanche, right? Like,
right.
Like
yes.
well, sorry, right? Like, that's who we were. Now we can do whatever we want.
Right. We were good. Look, our name was associated with something good. Therefore, you can't say that anything we do is bad. Folks, this is why Frank and I have been harping on this whole idea of us going out and trying to win and run for local local political positions. This is what we're up against. There's a concerted effort on the other side.
Yeah, and that's the point.
They want to instill Jesus as president of the United States. So,
and if they can't have Jesus, they'll take Donald Trump.
Yeah,
because the two are clearly just so close.
Basically the same.
Yeah. Overall message, temperament.
The midterm elections are going to be really important. We could lose the House of Representatives here in the States.
I know.
Now is the time to get fired up politically. It's not in a year. It's now.
Yeah. No kidding.
So get fired up. Get out there. Get engaged in politics. Right meow. Right meow. Meow. All right. Speaking of politics.
That was 3 meows, by the way.
That was 3 whole meows. That's how important this is, you guys. I am going to talk about some political things that happened. Some people who are fired up about politics. And this, normally, I've seen plenty of things where, atheists get up and do the quote-unquote invocation at some local political meeting, a county commission meeting, or a city meeting or whatever. And normally, I think that's nice, and I think it's interesting to do. I support it, but it usually isn't something that I consider for this show. But then in my Twitter feed in one day, the same thing happened twice. Both in Florida. So the first time, it was a Florida City Council meeting, or the City Council in Oviedo, Florida, and a secular person got up to give someone from the Central Florida Free Thought community, I think, decided to step up and give the invocation, gave a nice little talk, mentioned, you just sort of, and usually it's not presented as a prayer because we don't pray.
Right.
It was just, let's remember that we are here to serve in the best interests of all citizens of the city, not just for those like us, and that sort of thing.
Right. Okay.
A very nice thing, reminding, there's another quote. This evening and at every meeting in this sacred yet secular chamber, let's find as many ways as possible to make all feel welcome. I don't know how you can object to that. However,
I'm sure some Christians
find a way. They always find a way. And one of the city council members, one Judith Dolores Smith, immediately after asked for the floor and gave a prayer, a proper Christian prayer. Basically was like, let's just erase whatever he said, and make sure that we get Jesus in this place.
She might as well have gotten out her sage and started smudging. Right?
Right?
There's some bad vibes in here.
I mean, a non-Jesus person said words. Oh no. Words to which you can't even possibly object, but they didn't have the word Jesus in the beginning or at the end say amen. So anyway, that happened. And then literally just a little ways down my Twitter feed, I get the story of Polk County, Florida, where Sarah Ray, who's the co-founder of the atheist community of Polk County, and we've had some back and forth, some interaction with Sarah. She's great, and she was chosen to give the invocation at the Polk County Commissioners meeting. Gets up, gives a lovely little thing, just reminds the commissioners that Polk County has people who aren't Christians, right, as well as Christians. We are, she said, we are Christians, Jews, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, Sikhs, humanists, atheists, agnostics, unaffiliated, uncertain, and so many others. We are straight, gay, and transgender. We are old, young, and everything in between. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry, Sarah, not blah, blah, blah. She went on. I'm not going to read the whole thing, is what I meant.
Yada, yada, yada.
Yada, yada, yada. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. No, she didn't say that.
No, that's the atheist prayer sign-off. Blah, blah, blah.
Right, exactly. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, she completed her thing, and then immediately the guy got up and said, would everyone please stand and bow your heads? Father God, thank you for this day and for your mercy and grace, blah, blah, blah. It was immediate. It happened twice on the same fucking day.
Oh, God. That's amazing.
I just don't...
They're so threatened by their majority and complete control over everything.
Yeah, exactly.
One person comes along and just kind of points out, there are others here.
Yeah.
And they lose their shit.
Well, God. And the fact is that somebody, in the place where normally somebody says Jesus, 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 amen, somebody said something that wasn't that. And they just can't handle it.
Yeah. I mean, what if, it was religious, and directed toward some kind of God that's not theirs.
Yeah.
Would they do the same thing? Would they, excuse me, I mean, I don't think I can proceed after hearing that Hindu crap, right? What are they, are they going to do the exact same thing?
I'm guessing they wouldn't
have somehow rationalize it. That, well, at least it's to, I don't know, some kind
the
of
real God knows we were actually talking to him.
Why is it so hard to just be like, well, I mean, she said nice things. I bet God would like that.
And also, you can pray before you get there.
Oh, absolutely.
And it covers it.
Okay, guess what, Dan? You're supposed to just have a prayer in your heart.
Yeah.
Right?
Jesus had that whole thing about, those who pray in front of everybody for show are hypocrites. Jesus said that.
Yeah. The Book of Mormon has a whole thing on it, Dan.
Should, you know what? Let's send them a Book of Mormon.
And highlight the whole part about the rammy-umptum.
Just ram it right up their umptum is what we should do. Oh, good Lord.
Well, speaking of the Mormons, Dan.
Yeah.
Oh, God. We've spoken a lot on this show also, not just about Mormons, but also in the last year about COVID-19. And
now, what is that?
I know.
I know I've heard of it, but it's ringing a vague bell, but I don't really know what it's a number, I guess.
I know. I miss those days when I didn't know what it was.
Right.
But nonetheless, the vaccine is here, and it promises to return us to some sort of normal.
It doesn't promise that.
As long as people take it.
There's a contingency there that you have to actually take.
We have to achieve some sort of herd immunity, which, by the way, top epidemiologists are now saying we're not going to get it. We're not going to get there. because of vaccine hesitancy.
Yeah.
So where am I going with this? Well, turns out Mormons are they're a funny bunch, right? Because up until recently, they would have just been on board. I mean, I think so, right? There wasn't a ton of vaccine hesitancy, like
No.
in Mormonism. That Mormons
just did as they were
by
told.
and large anti-vaxxers and whatnot.
No.
Of course, there were some that were, but like it wasn't like a big thing. Well, now, according to a recent polling, only 50% of Mormons in the United States say they have gotten or will definitely get vaccinated, while the other half are either vaccine hesitant or vaccine refusers. This is, and it is important. There's an important caveat here that while these numbers are coming out of a much larger study, or survey rather. So only 105 of the participants in a over 5,600 respondent poll were actually Mormon. So there was a very small portion of
Right.
the whole study. And so there's a huge margin of error, but it points to there's definitely a large percentage of Mormons who are not getting vaccinated. And
it's the Trump Mormons, and I don't know I don't know where they came from. They did not exist in our day.
No. 17% say they will not get vaccinated at all. About a third of them fall into that hesitant category, which is an interesting category because it's like, what do you, okay, I get it, you're still processing it, but like, just fucking go get it.
What are you
right?
waiting for?
What do you, like, now, how do they compare to others, to other religious groups?
Sure.
They're faring slightly better than white evangelical Protestants.
Yeah, because it's impossible to be worse than white evangelical Protestants in the country of the United States of America. It's literally impossible to be worse.
There's one group that is, according to this. Hispanic Protestants.
Oh, my God.
43% are acceptors, although they have a very large hesitancy group, which is 42%. And only 15 are refusers, whereas white evangelical Protestants, 26% of them are refusers.
You know what I'm going to do? I am actually going to give the Hispanic Protestants a bit of a pass.
Yeah.
Only because they've been given plenty of reasons not to trust white folk.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, I almost get it. I almost get it with them.
Yeah. I mean, the whole hesitancy thing, like, we went out to eat the other night, which is something you can do, or at least I'm doing.
I've done it a couple of times since my vaccine was fully effective, and I forgot how to eat at a restaurant. I literally was an idiot.
Get Dan a bib, everyone.
I went for breakfast, and you know how you get toast and you get two slices of toast that are both cut in half. So there's 4 halves of toast.
Yeah, yeah.
And they butter one side of each of those halves, and then they put them sides together.
Yeah, that's a smart way of handling that.
It's what you do. I just picked up a slice of toast and started putting jam on the top, and my hand was on the butter side. I forgot how to eat at a restaurant. I'm that big of an idiot now.
It's like riding a bike, though. You'll be fine.
I got a little butter on my hand. It's not a big deal. Old butter hands. That's
old
me.
Butter hands, Beecher. Yeah. So I don't even know what I was.
Oh, sorry. You were saying that you went to a restaurant.
Oh, yeah, and the server was somebody that I've known for years. And he was like, I don't know if I want to get vaccinated. And I was just like, how?
Did you yell at him?
I shouted back. I'm like, oh, no, you have to. Right.
Yeah.
And he was like, I just don't want to get sick. I'm like,
Oh my God.
it's 20. First of all, not everybody does. Not everybody
Yeah.
gets sick after the second shot.
Yeah.
And if you do, you're okay. But
It's so
you
much
know
better
it's
than
going
getting
to
COVID.
end in 24 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave got sick after his second. I didn't. And he was he was sick. And so, I mean, it's a thing, but that cannot be a reason, right?
No.
Like there are maybe you could have like a question, right? And there's probably a good answer. But that one, I'm just like, get over yourself. Like, that's what you're
Yeah.
worried about? Just get it.
Yeah.
Oh, golly gee.
Here's the nice thing, though. The good news about vaccine hesitancy is that it can be overcome.
Yeah.
And my mother-in-law was hesitant
Mm-hmm.
and was not going to do it, and was like really on the no side of things.
Mm.
And then the Mormon prophet said that he did it and was encouraging it, not in the no uncertain terms that he should have done it.
Right.
He should have just said everybody has to go get this unless there's a completely valid medical reason not to.
Right. As your prophet doctor.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And he is a doctor,
Yeah,
so he
I know.
really should have said that.
I know.
But it was enough to make her. She was still scared. She was still worried about it.
Yeah.
But she did it,
Good.
and so that's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean,
So
that's
yes,
the next
vaccine
step.
hesitancy is not. Those people, if we're all careful,
Yeah.
we might be able to.
Well, and the trick here is, like, if you know someone who is hesitant, don't preach at them, because
No.
as we know, when you preach at people, they dig in their heels, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe make yourself a resource, right? To make yourself available as a sounding board for their concerns.
Yeah.
But like, don't
help them find good resources. Help
Yeah.
them find good information.
Yes, these are things as atheists that we can do.
Yeah. And also, like, it's a good idea to hear their concerns.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah, yeah.
dismiss
Yep.
their concerns.
Mhm.
Listen to them. Sympathize with them. Tell them, I understand why you would feel that way. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But there are answers to these questions,
Yeah.
and I can help you with that.
Yeah, I didn't do that with my friend. I sound like it.
Well,
But I also know that he's going to come around.
yeah. Some people, you need to just bully them into it. Anyway, speaking of COVID, I don't know if you know this. It's not just here. It's not just here in Salt Lake. It's not just here in Utah. It's not just here in these United States of America.
Really?
It's every damn where.
Yeah.
It's a global pandemic. But some people, even just like the Mormons, have not gotten the memo. And one of the big groups that have definitely not gotten the memo are ultra-Orthodox Jews.
Oh, boy.
And oh my God, have they not gotten the memo? They just don't want to hear about it. And unfortunately, in Israel, here's the thing about Israel. They've done a bang-up job for most of the pandemic. They actually have done a really good job. They've done a really strong job vaccinating people.
Yeah.
They were really fast out the gate with the vaccinations. But when you've got a group like the ultra-Orthodox who aren't listening, don't want to hear, don't want to pay attention, and also, not unlike our evangelical Christians here in the United States, have a disproportionate amount of power in the country,
Right.
shit goes bad. And shit went real bad, not just because of COVID. This actually isn't a COVID story, except that there are restrictions in place in Israel. You're not supposed to have a gathering of over, I think it's 500 people at a time. Yeah.
What?
You can have as many as 500 people at a gathering. And you would think...
Wait, no. That doesn't make any sense. You can have up to 500 people? I mean, you might as well just, throw a music festival at that point.
Oh, hang on to your shorts.
No.
You do not know what's coming around this corner.
Because I really don't know. Okay.
Because this last week was, I can't believe you didn't catch this story. I'm almost.
I heard something happen, but I didn't. I was kind of on vacation, and then when I got back, I kind of just kept ignoring things for a while.
So it was a celebration. It was a Jewish holiday.
Okay.
Lag BaOmer, which sounds like it sounds more Scottish to me than Jewish.
Okay.
Lag BaOmer. Anyway, apparently this is a festival that they didn't have last year because of COVID, and this year they wanted to do it up real nice. And because they have so much power, the ultra orthodox in the country, Prime Minister Netanyahu basically owes all of his power to them. Like he has to pander to them, and he allowed this to go forward.
Oh boy.
Well, yeah, they beat 500 people by a little bit. Over 100,000 people.
Excuse me?
Showed up to this event.
Excuse
Over 100,000 people.
Burning Man is like 60,000.
Correct.
What is this festival?
Is near Galilee. I think it's a place called Mount Meron.
Oh my God!
And listen, officials have been warning everybody that this is an unsafe number of people for this area for a long time.
Right.
Officials have been their reports have been issued and whatever. When you get this many people packed into a small area, bad things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, as everybody's exiting, you can't stop the flow of that many people.
Oh, right.
And they're coming down through this little, very, it all funnels down through a very narrow passageway coming down the mountain. And somebody slipped.
Oh, no.
And then a few other people fell. And it was basically a human avalanche. It was a stampede of people.
My God.
It injured at least 150.
Wow.
Killed 45 people.
Holy crap. Oh my God.
It's devastating. It is devastating. And you guys, you don't have to have this celebration.
Yeah.
No amount of being excited and it's one of those stupid things where I don't even know what it's celebrating. I did look it up, but I don't remember what it is. It's celebrating something stupid. It doesn't matter. It's something that happened 2,000 years ago,
right.
Or, 5,000 years ago or whatever. It was the end of a plague. That's what it was. It was the end of a plague. Guess what? You're trying to get to the end of a plague now, and you just killed 45 people because of it.
Well, how many people caught COVID in the meantime?
Well, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Probably a bunch.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So yeah, what a hell of a way to celebrate the end of a plague. And it's devastating. People, I've read accounts of people looking for their children because it was men, women, and children. People didn't know. Yeah, just a devastating thing that so did not have to happen. Just you literally, but these ultra orthodox especially will not be told rules. They will not, especially in really Israel.
Stubborn. Yeah.
You can't tell them anything.
Yeah.
So there you go. That happened.
Oh my God. Well, I don't know the right segue from that story to this story.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that I ruined that for you.
No, because it's about Germany and anti-Semitism. And nothing that was coming to mind was appropriate.
Well, speaking of Jews, yeah, there's no good.
There's
I left you no way to get through
good
that.
segue, Dan.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, we're shifting gears here.
You know who hates those Jews more than you do, Dan? I don't hate Jews. Can I just be clear about that?
Oh my God. All right, Germany. Dateline Germany.
Yeah. They've had anti-Semitism problems in the past. I'm led to understand.
Yeah, historically, a problematic relationship with the Jewish community, to say the least.
Indeed.
Yeah, and unfortunately, well, I don't know, like as an outside observer of Germany, it seemed like maybe, in the second half of the 20th century, they had sort of, addressed the Holocaust as like a society, right? And had maybe put those anti-Semitic parts of their society well into the dark corners and recesses.
I mean, they outlawed a whole bunch of language, and they made sure that they put in some effort. They really tried.
Yeah, no, they really did. And now it's the 2020s, and they've been seeing an uptick in anti-Semitic crimes, and specifically to 2020, there was an increase of 15% over 2019, which is alarming to say the least. That means that there were over 2,300 total incidents, and 94.6 of those were committed by a far right suspect, right?
Yeah.
And because this article that I'm getting these numbers out of is really looking at the rise of the far right in Germany, and neo-Nazis.
Right.
That's what they are. And it's really just unbelievably shocking to me, that those anti-Semitic sentiments were just under the surface, apparently, for so many people. And I don't know how, who's
perpetuating
cares?
it?
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, clearly, people were going to school and learning or not learning the same lessons as everybody
Right.
else,
But
hearing them and going home, and parents had to be perpetuating these horrible ideas.
Yeah.
And must have been doing Holocaust apologetics.
Yeah,
World
it's
War
just
II, alternate histories and whatnot.
Not alternate histories where they just say, we as the white race almost made it. We almost got rid of everybody else, but we didn't quite do it. So
yeah,
guess we're gonna have to try again.
And it seems like they are. It's really alarming, and Germany is they're struggling to figure out, what to do.
Yeah, well,
how to
it's
handle
not
this.
Thank God we don't have this problem in our country.
No kidding. We've put all of our.
Listen, German listeners, let me just give you a little bit of advice. I know you guys have a lot of experience dealing with these people, but I'll just say from our perspective, don't let them elect a president.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because we did that, didn't see it coming, and then they buy tiki torches and they have parades and think that they're cool again. It's a bad idea. It's just a bad thing. So,
well, I mean, they should know that they had Hitler.
I know, but everybody seems to forget everything. So there you go.
I just. What I find, and I'm not leaning too far into it, but isn't it weird that the 21st century seems to be following the 20th century's pattern? Right?
It's
like pandemic right about the same time.
It's pretty scary,
an economy
actually.
that is burning really hot.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen at the end of that? And then, like, the rise of, like, fascism and... Hey, what the fuck? We know what happens.
Well, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
We're rhyming. Well, I'm going to end on a really stupid note. That's what we need. We need a little dumb in our lives right now.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about disgraced and fallen from grace former president of Liberty University, Jerry Falwell Jr.
God, he comes up on this show a lot.
Because he is amazing. I love this guy. This is, for anyone who doesn't recall, let's just rewind the clock a little bit and remember that the thing that, the straw that finally broke the camel's back for Liberty University, the university that his father founded.
Right.
So it's not a small thing to kick him out. But the straw that broke the camel's back was an image that he posted willingly on his Instagram account of him and a young woman. His arm is around her. They're both holding very clearly alcoholic beverages, and both of their pants are open and unzipped.
Yeah.
Like,
it wasn't the pool boy scandal.
no, the pool boy scandal had already happened, and he was still there. This guy is incredible. Anyway, he quote unquote resigned from Liberty University. Liberty is suing him currently to try not to pay him the golden parachute severance package that he had already negotiated.
Right.
And then he comes back into the news back this week by showing up at some like weird outdoor underground comedy event, which I don't even know what that is. But
Wait, he didn't get on stage, did he?
Not to do comedy. But he shows up there and he grabs the mic and he's like, "Hey, you guys." And I only heard a 2-second clip of this thing, and I'm pretty sure the man was wasted drunk.
Oh my God.
And he's like, you guys all come out to my farm for the real Liberty graduation.
What does that mean?
He's talking about throwing a party, and he's got like 500-acre farm, this huge thing, and he was going to throw a party for all the graduating seniors. So that was funny. He just spontaneously says it in front of this little crowd and then is like, "Get the word out to everybody. Okay, see you, bye." And then later, a few days later, he actually had to announce formally that he is canceling
the party,
the event, the party, due to some health reasons, apparently. So
I'm sure. Yeah, he's sobered up. That's the problem.
His wife found out and was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" "No, your blood clots are back. That's what's happening. We're not doing this."
It's funny.
So anyway, there you go. The story of a party that never was, but should have been, and was very clearly in his mind a fuck you to Liberty University.
Oh, yeah.
Like just a big old, come and have the real one. You guys are great. It's them that's the problem. Come over to my place. We're all going to party. I'm going to give you some alcohol. I mean, not because you guys don't do that, but I do now. Anyway, there you go. If you would like to write to us and tell us all about your amazing farm and the party you're going to have there, please feel free to do so. Podcast at thankgodimatheist.com is the email address.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. We might play it on the show. The number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah.
Stick around. There's more show coming up. Hey, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I really dislike in this world?
I mean, that list doesn't seem to me to be small.
But
there's a lot of things you dislike.
There's a lot that I don't dislike. But for this moment, it's stupid people.
we got plenty of those. There's an almost unending supply of them. They just flow through our lives. But I can give you a stupid person. You want a stupid person? I'll give you a stupid person.
Okay. All right.
So why don't we go with Rick Wiles? We've definitely had him, heard his voice on the show before. This is a guy who is on the wrong side of every issue in the world.
And just happy as a clam.
And
so judgmental about everybody.
As all hell. So
is good and decent.
Let's hear him be wrong about something.
Cool.
I am not going to be vaccinated.
I join you in that.
I'm going to be one of the survivors. I'm going to survive the genocide. I am not going to allow the COVID maniacs to convince me to be vaccinated or vaccinate me against my will. I know what I'm reading. I know what I'm seeing. There is a mass death campaign underway right now. And I don't care what people, they can write any article they want to write about me. They can do everything they can to deplatform me. I'm going to survive a global genocide. The only good thing that will come out of this is a lot of stupid people will be killed off.
That's the only good thing.
That's the good thing.
That's the good thing. God, this guy.
Holy shit, man. We were just talking about stupid people and how at least we weren't calling for their deaths.
Yeah, no, they just bug me.
That's how we know that we're still one up, morally speaking, on Rick Wiles, which isn't hard to be. Like, basically, if you're not at least one up on Rick Wiles on any front,
you
pretty much
me.
pick a front, you should be very, very worried.
Yeah. No, wow.
He is
I know what I've been seeing. I know what I've been reading.
Right? I'm not going to tell you what I've been reading because that would be then I'd have to cite my sources.
What you've been seeing is other people saying the same kind of stuff you're saying. Yeah. Not people who, are basing anything.
Yeah.
Any of the stupid conspiracy theories that they have about the vaccine, whether it's a microchip or whatever. I mean, that it's just one day we're all going to die. Right?
Yeah. Have you noticed that people aren't dying? Like thousands and millions of people have gotten the vaccine. Nobody's dying from it. Like there was a couple of people.
Who is this person pulling all these strings who just wants everybody to die?
Right? What's the end game there?
Right. And have a world filled with Rick Wiles types.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
It's literally the opposite of the rapture. We all die and they have to stay.
I want HBO to make that show.
Yeah. There you go. We'll pitch it. And then we don't have to do this terrible podcast anymore.
Oh my God.
Oh, good Lord. We at least wouldn't have to listen to Rick Wiles anymore. So we had some folks write into us, some of our delightful listeners, and call into us. So let's get started with that. This is from Adam, who says, "Hi, Frank and Dan. I used to teach in the religious school sector." Oh, you poor man. One thing I never used to attend was the Passion Play. The year 11 students put on a play of the whole crucifixion.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't massively into seeing my students crucified, so usually I sat it out. That's probably wise. One thing I did see, though, was when they had the student playing Jesus carry the cross to where he performs in the crucifixion. I'm not sure if you've taught that many year 9 boys, but they were encouraged to hurl abuse at student Jesus, just like in the story.
Oh my God.
I don't think I've seen so many teenagers enjoy calling Jesus a fucking cunt as loud as they can. I wanted to laugh, but it was disturbing and perverse. All I was left with was wondering what exactly those students had taken away from the experience, other than a significant ability to utter 4-letter words.
Well, that's why it's fun. That's what they're enjoying about it.
Well, absolutely,
It's like
but
the
yeah,
Hell House things, right? Where they get a revel in like
exactly,
being adjacent to the things that that they're forbidden, right?
Oh my gosh,
God, that's amazing.
Just
well,
the minds that come up with these things.
I mean, though, like, it's like, they at least were like doing like method acting, right? Like they were.
Did they pick the least popular kid at school to play Jesus?
Oh no!
Who do you pick to play Jesus in that moment? I don't know how that goes. It's not a. There's no good out.
It's the cool kid. It's always,
Yeah, exactly. It's
the,
always
the
like
quote unquote cool kid at the Christian school.
Yeah. All right. Daniel wrote into us. Hi, Frank and Dan. My maternal granddad was a Catholic, and my mom naturally followed suit, bringing up my siblings and I as Catholics. I was very fortunate in that my family is not overly religious. We only went to church on Easter and Christmas. Telling my parents I don't believe didn't have much of an impact. Things were a bit awkward with my mom for a while. I get the impression that Dad is actually agnostic. And I remember that she said my granddad would be disappointed in me, which really hurt.
Yeah.
Ironically, the Catholic Church helped by shooting itself in the foot. My mom attended a funeral for a close friend and was told by the priest that she could not receive the Eucharist because she was a lapsed Catholic, not going to church regularly enough.
Oh.
This really hurt my mom, and she seems to have developed a much more personal belief rather than following the church. In a strange way, I think that helped her accept my lack of belief.
Oh, wow.
I think that's amazing.
It's funny when they chase their own off, right? Like,
right? It's exactly. I mean, obviously that was a move meant to shame her into going more.
Right, but
shame is a double-edged sword, man.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. I've got a voicemail.
Oh, yeah.
This is a caller by the name of Spencer, who is has just, this is like the most delightful voicemail. Because,
let's just listen.
She grew up, she explains it really well, so.
Hi, Frank. Hi, Dan. My name is Spencer, she, her. Yesterday I was talking to my mom, and I've never really asked her what type of Christian. I knew we were Christian when I was growing up, but I never asked her what kind. And I actually didn't know that there's other types of Christian until I started listening to your podcast about 2 years ago. But yeah, I always thought we were probably evangelical because her part of the family is definitely one of the wild Christians that are very, very into their faith. And anyways, I asked her what type of religion we were, and she said that we were Lutheran, and I had no idea that I grew up Lutheran. I don't really know if that's part of Christian, but anyways, I just wanted to ask you, you've probably talked about this in the podcast before, but I was wondering kind of what is a Lutheran? I guess I could Google this, but I love hearing you guys talk. So anyways, thank you. Talk to you later.
What a great way to grow up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Like, so casually religious that you don't even know what you are.
Oh my God, you can't understand how foreign that is to a Mormon. To former Mormons, like, that thought is unbelievable.
I know. It's just like,
it doesn't even, like, register in my brain doesn't know what to do with the thought that, like, oh, I'm Christian. What kind of Christian? I don't know.
Christian, right? What,
Turns out I'm a Lutheran. Who knew? I didn't know that. Wow.
Oh, but Spencer, there's a very good chance that that very crazy religious part of your family is also Lutheran, right? Because there are different brands of Lutheranism. There's like the mainline Protestant, types that are mostly harmless. But then there's the Missouri Synod Lutherans, and they are psychos. I mean, they might as well be evangelicals. In fact, they probably kind of qualify as evangelicals. They're total nut jobs. So,
oh my God, I don't know much about Lutherans. I like know that they're named after Martin Luther, and that's basically all I got.
Oh, my whole family's Lutheran.
Oh,
outside
there you
of
go.
Us few Mormons, and they were Missouri Synod.
So the Mormons are the normal ones in the family?
Yeah.
They're the less extreme ones? Yikes. Oh, man. Well, thanks for that. I don't think we've edified anyone on what Lutheranism is, but it is Christian. They do count as Christian.
They are Christian. That's part of Martin Luther. I mean, this is the Reformation. Like, this is actually really fascinating stuff about, how
he basically
Christianity
invented Protestantism.
Exactly. Yeah.
Protesting the Catholics. Anyway, there you go. So we had some folks donate to us. We didn't get around to talking about it last week because you were gone.
Oh.
So I'm going to start us off.
Okay.
And this is one we missed, I think, a couple weeks ago. That's my fault. But Tiffany has donated to us, and she did a one-time donation on PayPal. I'm going to say that she is a priest.
Nice.
So peace be upon you and all the things that go along with your new priesthood. Please enjoy that gift from us. And who else are we going to confer some magic powers on?
Who have we sold some priesthoods to?
Yeah.
Well, it's actually a 2-week mega list. So we're going to power through this.
Let's get it.
We have 3 new deacons. We have Stephen, Nicola, and where I lost the other one. Oh, Joseph Smith, founder, elder, but not too cheap to chip in for more. Okay. Yeah, fun. Nice.
Thank you. Joseph.
Thank you very much.
Joseph started at the top rung of the tree, but we're starting him on the low rung.
Yeah, starting out as a deacon. He's working his way up.
You got to build to something.
We have a new teacher by the name of Curtis.
Okay, thank you, Curtis.
We have 3 new priests. We have Thomas, Eric, and Jay.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you, guys. And then we have a new prophet, seer, and revelator, Dan.
Whoa.
By the name of Ali.
So, all right, Ali. You now have the power of prophecy. Use it carefully. Use it wisely. And thank you.
And as always, Dan, we have our top donor to thank, our Lord and Savior, Austin.
Amazing. Thank you all so much. Go to thankgodimatheist.com and give us your money.
Dan.
Yeah.
A story that we cannot ignore came up this week.
Yeah, I wanted to.
Yeah, because it's actually a kind of story that we both tend to just skip over when we're looking for news to talk about on the show.
Yeah, kinda.
Because let's get into what happened with Josh Duggar. Why don't we kind of bring everybody up to speed with
For those who don't know who Josh Duggar is, he is one of the 19 kids
Yeah.
and hopefully no longer counting, from the TLC TV show called 19 Kids and Counting, about a family of evangelical nutballs who believe in the quiverful notion, which is that they're not allowed to plan a family. How many kids they have is up to God, and they just keep on having sex, and they got up to 19 kids, which is crazy.
One person, one womb, spat out 19 people.
Yeah,
that's not healthy. That's not right.
Well, and what's shocking about that is that not everybody turned out great. I don't know how that happened.
Because of the personalized parenting that they obviously were not getting.
Right. And also the terrible religious messaging that was the most important thing in the world to them.
Right.
Including very, very, very uptight, pristine purity culture.
Right.
Which is big for evangelical Christians. Well, it turned out, we learned back in, when was it? It was several years ago.
Yeah, this story's been going on for a while with Josh Duggar.
Yeah, we learned. So Josh Duggar is he's either their oldest or one of their oldest, and he had a job with a right wing Christian think tank that was out there trying to do harm in the world by making sure that abortions can't happen and gay people feel bad about themselves and aren't allowed to do anything, and all that sort of thing. He had a job. He was working in evangelical circles when it came out that as a young man, he had molested some children, a few of which were his sisters.
Right.
They had tried. It kind of got swept under the rug for a long time, but it got dug up by some reporters. It came out. It was a bad deal, but he was a teenager when it happened, and everybody was just like, kids. He was young too, and it was bad, but he repented, and then everything was fine, and his wife forgave him, and so I guess we should too, or something. It was somehow the gist of how we were all supposed to react to it. Well, now it turns out that he this didn't just stop. He has now been arrested for possession of and transmission of images including depicting nudity and the sexual abuse of children, including toddlers.
Oh, man.
Lots and lots of images. He had, there were hundreds of images. And it was so there you go. That's the story.
Right.
He's facing those charges now. And the thing about it is that, when you and I hear about a priest, like anytime we encounter stories like this, we have to ask ourselves, are we going to talk about it on the show?
Right. And most of the time, my answer is no, I don't want to. Because to be honest, like if this was a topic that every time it came up, we'd be talking about it on every single fucking episode.
Yeah.
Because there's a new story every week about some pastor who, was caught with kiddie porn, or somebody who molested somebody, or somebody who like the list of these people, right?
Yeah.
Of these people who've set themselves up into these positions to be trusted figures in their community, right? And then they just abuse the trust. And it's such a common, typical story that I don't want to inflict our listeners with.
Well, it would.
I don't want to inflict myself
it would be
with addressing this issue all the time.
It would be the Frank and Dan religious molestation hour, and we wouldn't have anything else to talk about.
We could do that as like a little side project.
Oh my God. Because you want me to kill myself?
No,
Is that...
I honestly don't want to read these stories. The topic just mortifies me, and so consequently, we by and large ignore these stories. But sometimes there's one that's big enough.
Unless there's a something about it that has a new or different element.
Exactly. Yeah.
We tend not to go with it, and that's maybe that's bad. I don't know, but the fact of the matter is that it is so clear that the second someone, like, you know, these people, if they were just out in the world, maybe they would also still be molesters. But when you give that person power, impunity, you know,
position,
and a place where people will cover up your mistakes,
or they have a vested interest in covering it up for you,
right? Yeah,
right, because they don't want to be the church with the, you know, with the gross pastor, or
they don't want their tithing to, you know, they don't want to lose parishioners because it gets out that their pastor or their priest is awful,
right?
And so you're right, there's a vested interest in covering the shit up, and that just self-perpetuates. And then when you get a giant organization like the Mormon Church or the Catholic Church or whatever, the Catholics just juggle everybody around and put more people in harm's way, but make sure that, like, nobody ever catches anybody.
I mean, it was such a known issue with the Catholics, and it was so prevalent that they were good at it. They were practiced at covering up. Right? They knew what to do.
They had rules about it. Yeah. They internal rules that were not about
protecting
children or bringing anyone to justice.
Right.
They were just about protecting the church and then the good name of the church.
And protecting one of their own, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Duggar thing is a big deal in that he was a high-profile guy, and he's definitely, you know, and I think, look, you and I are not psychological professionals. We don't know.
We couldn't
diagnose anything if we wanted to.
Shit. I know all of it. I know what's wrong with everybody.
Right, exactly. but you can't discount how he was raised in this.
For sure.
I don't think you can. I don't think...
I mean, chances are, right, that he was probably abused.
Well, there's a decent... Even if he wasn't abused in the way that he's been abusing people...
Correct.
Chances are that, he definitely was emotionally abused because these people are awful people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. It's the thing is that there are plenty. We're not free of this. Atheists. There are plenty of atheists that do this stuff.
Yeah.
It's an awful thing that just happens across the board. Yeah. But hopefully, at least in our community, if this happens, we don't cover it up. We don't try to make it go away. We don't try to hide it. Well, when it's uncovered, we call it what it is, and we let the courts, we let the civil actions deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, we're also just such a loose affiliation with people and small groups, small community organizing groups. You know, like it's you know, the system just isn't there for it, right? For us to have a systemic cover up of the kind of thing, right? Like,
but it is important that we reinforce this idea that. No one should be sacred, so sacred to us that we would cover up their crime.
Absolutely.
No one should be so important to us that we would let them get away, that we would put other people in danger, in harm's way, because we want to protect our thing.
image, our reputation as a community, whatever.
It's just never okay.
Yeah.
And
and here's the thing. I mean, and I think society, if you're just keeping up with society and sort of a lot of the discussions that we've been having more broadly about holding a lot of people accountable lately. I don't know how any organization would want to cover up, or any group would want to cover up anything at this point, right? Like,
yeah,
you're gonna, like, I mean, this sounds gross, but the points to gain, right, reputationally, at this point in my mind, is on the side of accountability and holding people accountable, right? Like,
yeah.
you want your organization, you want your group, you want your community to be holding people accountable. Because, I mean, in my mind, that's what makes me go, like, the fact that we don't have sacred cows in the atheist community, I think that's great. And when I see somebody having to account for some action or something they said, I'm just step back and go, that's a good thing. That's how it should be.
And I skipped a part of Josh Duggar's story, by the way, which I'm realizing, which is that back when it came to light that he had abused all these young people, he was never charged with anything. He never went to jail for that. He got basically a stern talking to from a sheriff, and basically he was let off the hook largely because he was a good Christian boy.
Yeah.
That's the kind of cover that this bullshit gives. Yeah. That's the kind of shit that happens. Well, and I think if I remember correctly, that sheriff then went to jail for child pornography.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yeah.
God. Oh.
So, like, this isn't just a story about a guy who is into child porn.
Right.
This is a story about a whole system bolstered by religion. Mm-hmm. And religion is the only thing that could bolster this in this way.
Right. No, the Democratic Party can do it too.
Well, that's right. Yeah, that's right. According to QAnon. This continual thing, this basically steady stream of stories like this that you and I continually don't put on the show, happens because of religion. That's what makes it go.
Yeah.
So even though non-religious people do these actions, the fact that it continues and is covered up is
maybe what we should do on the show is just religion. Be like, just acknowledge, we should just keep a tally.
Right? Oh God, don't make me do that.
Because it's constant.
It's just
there's always some
would be
story.
It's like the national debt clock in Manhattan. It would just be the molestation clock. It would just keep ticking constantly.
It's true.
Yeah. By the way,
it's horrifying. And
Josh Duggar, by the way, is not in jail now, having been released by the judge to the custody of a friend and neighbor, where he is required to stay at their house until the arraignment or the hearing or whatever it is.
Of course, because he's a good guy.
Because he's a good Christian man who's gone astray, and we need to give him as many chances as he can. He is white, right? Let me just check first. Oh yeah, he's white. Okay, then yes. Then yes, we need to give him as many, and he's famous, so Anyway, there you go. I don't know. There's not much more to say about it.
No.
We'll leave it at that. If you have something to add, which I'm sure a lot of you do, please feel free to write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. Tell us with your voice what you think.
Yeah.
424-666-8442 is the number.
Yeah, hey, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist. Click the like button there.
And if you want to join one of our two, count them, 2 members-only lounges, one on Facebook, one on Discord, go to thankgodimatheist.com.
Thanks so much to the Red Rock Hot Club for their use of their beautiful, fine music.
And a big thanks to Gordon Johnston for the use of his music.
And thanks to all of you for tuning in.
Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, this is Frank. Maybe you've wondered from time to time how do Frank and Dan make their show sound so great? And I've got something to say about that. We use really nice microphones. Something that we really wanted when we were first starting out were some nice professional microphones, and we finally bought them a number of years ago. We use Shure SM7Bs. Now, this might kind of sound like an ad, and you might be wondering why I'd be telling you this information. It's really just to set up the following, which is, after going on 10 years of podcasting excellence, I feel like we've really dialed in the sound of the show, and there's a certain level of professionalism that we might project, even if it's not really accurate. And I think this is proof. What you're about to hear is proof positive of just the level of skill involved in producing this show. I don't sound like I normally would. Because I forgot to turn on my Shure SM7B and instead recorded the entire episode on my computer's onboard microphone. And if you've been listening to public media or radio in general over the course of the pandemic. I sound a lot like most anybody on the radio right now on this episode, but it is mildly embarrassing. But I don't think it really affects the quality of the show. Dan and I discussed maybe re-recording the episode, and to be honest, there were just a couple moments in the show that I don't think we could recreate if we re-recorded, and that were just really nice, good moments. And so we're just letting it be. Hopefully next week I push the right buttons, and the show will sound better. But in the meantime, enjoy the show.